Hello there and welcome back to another video. This one is going to be about what a producer does. Because I've had this question asked quite a lot. What exactly does a producer do? Why do I need a producer? Etc, etc. So, to illustrate what a producer does, I'm going to be using a track which I did with an artist called Almost Unique. And we worked together on this track back in 2020. Things happened in 2020 that you may or may not be aware of that meant we were all stuck at home for quite a while. And what we decided to do with that time was to work on music. So we did. And this is the first single she released. And it was produced and mixed by me and also co-produced by her, Almost Unique. So we're going to take you on a journey through that and explain basically the evolution of the whole thing, what we started with and what we ended up with and what we came across along the way. So I hope you enjoy this. To begin with, I'm going to play you part of her original demo. This is what she sent me. Originally the track had a different name. It was called News, and as you'll hear, got quite different lyrics and it's quite a different style as well. So here we go, this is what this sounded like.
Did you see the news? Oh, I'm so confused by what is going on. Everything seems wrong, and I don't know what to do. Please explain to me how we can see this through. 'Cause every time we move on, someone goes. I'll take this life, sweet little life. It's not mine, so I don't care how it feels all the time. Covered in lies, so I close my eyes so I can't see clearly.
So as you can hear there, it's acoustic guitar played by Almost Unique. We have a vocal. We have hand claps, which I believe are actually both of us. And we've also got a bass line in there as well. But the primary focus of it is the vocal and acoustic guitar. So first of all, if a song works in that context of stripping it down to just a vocal and a guitar or vocal and piano or something like that, that's a sign of a good song to begin with. And I think this works really well in the format that it was in. So I thought, okay, this is a great song, first and foremost. Really liked it. Really liked the chord changes in the melody. But we just couldn't get it to work. We tried all manner of things, and unfortunately, I don't have any of them in the archive, unfortunately. But we tried all kinds of different things over voice message. I remember vividly trying out different keyboard sounds, different drum sounds, and different sort of styles of playing, but we just couldn't get it to work. It was kind of pulling us in kind of a country direction with a kind of fall on the floor slow kick, but we just didn't really feel that. We just didn't feel that was where the song should be going. So in the end, we sort of left the song for a while until one day, I remember this vividly. One day I was having breakfast on a Monday morning. I know we all try not to think about Monday mornings too much, but put yourself there for a moment. Breakfast on a Monday morning, and I just, for some reason, this idea came into my head. I think I've been listening to a lot of early 2000s music, and I don't even know if that was the idea that manifested, but because I've been listening to this particular kind of music, for some reason this idea just fell into my head, and I thought, oh, we could approach this song like this. So then, later that day, spent a couple of hours putting the next clip together, which I then sent to Almost Unique, and I said, I think this is a bit different. This is maybe a bit too different. And I apologise if I completely ruined the song. But can you just let me know what you think of this? And this is what I played here.
what is going on. Everything seems wrong, and I don't know what to do. Please explain to me how we can see this through. 'Cause every time we move on, someone goes. I'll take this life, sweet little life. It's not mine, so I don't care how it feels all the time. Covered in lies, so I close my eyes so I can't see clearly.
So as you can hear, it's very different in style. It's definitely more of a pop kind of feel, and I think that's what this song was meant to be. It was meant to be a kind of pop song, but because of that acoustic guitar kind of playing style that was on the demo that you heard earlier, which you couldn't hear that for some reason. And indeed, if you try and put the acoustic guitar from that demo into this pop version, it doesn't work because they feel completely wrong. If you're familiar with the final version of the song, you'll know that that's a lot of the way there towards what the released version sounds like. The drums are there, the bass is there, sort of core synth parts are there, the synth pad and the da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da, that's there. And that all came very, very quickly. I think I got that down in about 2.5 hours. So I think I put the beat down first, and then I was coming up with different synth parts and bass parts just by playing with presets. For those that are interested, the drums are from Battery 4. The bass is a Scarby pre-bass amped, I believe. And pretty much all the synths are from Sylenth. The piano that you can hear in there as well, that came there very quickly as well. And that is, I believe, Noir from Native Instruments, but I could be wrong. If you want to find out for certain, there's a link in the description to a video that I did shortly after the release of this track where I break down the final version and the production and talk about each and every sound I used, and I can confirm that those sounds that are mentioned in that video are the correct ones, so see that video for more information. Almost Unique loved it, so we decided to sort of pursue that. However, she did say she wanted to change the lyrics of the song. So she did. She recorded a scratch vocal with new lyrics. Also, shortly after this, we actually raised the song up a semitone because, as you'll hear in this next example, since it's a low key, it can make some of the new melodies difficult to sing. So we decided to raise it up a key pretty much straight after we'd done this version with the new vocals and added a few more production elements. So you're going to hear the same bit of the song again. But this time, you'll see that the progression in the lyrics and melody are different.
So tell me how it feels to lose a friend, those precious moments at the end. 'Cause I want to understand so I can hold your hand. I know it's not the same, and you're in a lot of pain. Oh, this life knows when to twist the knife, so close your eyes and watch her fly so high all the time, playing on your mind with their last goodbye and how you had to break that tie.
So yeah, as you can hear there, vocals are a little bit tricky, so we decided to raise it up a key. So the next couple of examples you're going to hear, the song is going to be a semitone higher. For the curious, we were originally in E flat, and the released version is in E. So just to talk a bit more about how exactly we were actually doing this, this was all done remotely, of course, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, and also due to geographical differences. But I've been doing online, remote music production for about 5 years at that point, about 8 years now, with my good friend Josh Ulysses of Divided Compass, and later on Harry Sorrell, also from Divided Compass. So I was pretty well practiced in terms of working remotely. So that's how we were doing things. I would add elements, program things, and she would also send me files, like the different vocals and different acoustic guitar parts, suggest ideas on the production. For example, you haven't heard the end section of the song yet, but for a long time it was pretty bare. Like the drums changed and you had the bigger kicks and claps coming in, but it was pretty empty. And then Almost Unique suggested, well, why didn't you add in like a low piano octave? So we did that, and that really made that final end section. Which is an important thing during production as well, is that it's about making the song build and making each section be different, because part of it is you don't want people to switch off because they feel like they've heard everything already in the first verse and chorus. But also you've got to keep them listening to the end, and you've got to make the end special as well. And we definitely did that with this song. I feel like we definitely hit all of those targets and making each section a bit different, keeping it moving. The bridge especially strips down completely, and that's something that I believe was always the case. So on the News demo, the bridge was notes on beat 1 of the bars, keeping it quite stripped back, and then you come crashing back in with the lower piano octave notes and a load of other synth parts and a guitar and loads of things. So don't throw everything in the first verse, because I'm definitely guilty of doing that, throwing all the elements in the first verse. Don't do that, because you've got nowhere to go. Keep it and just move it until later on in the song. That's kind of how we were actually building the song, sending things back and forth, both contributing a lot of ideas. I would often just stumble across ideas when programming things, going through sounds, different synths, things like that. And now this next version features a new vocal. Almost Unique went to Pirate Studios and recorded a new lead vocal and some backing vocals and a double vocal. And we're going to hear some things in this version of the song that we haven't heard before. This time we're going to be starting from verse 2, so you're hearing a different section this time.
So tell me about that time you had some fun, spent hours in the sun. 'Cause I know the memories will live on through centuries, creating history. I know you want to blame, and it's driving you insane. Oh, this life knows when to twist the knife, so close your eyes and watch her fly so high all the time, playing on your mind with their last goodbye and how you had to break the tie.
So as you can hear there, backing vocals, new lead vocal, which is actually the final vocal that you hear on the track. For some reason there was a technical fault at Pirate, I can only assume, and the actual vocal track was incredibly noisy, and I remember having to use a lot of Isotope RX7, which I'd only recently got at the time of making this track, and trying to figure out how to denoise this vocal, and luckily we made it work. That and some very strategic gating. With a noise gate. I'm going to play you another clip from this song actually, because you'll hear something in here that didn't make it to the final version.
Just remember your time together. Oh, this life knows when to twist the knife, so close your eyes and watch her fly so high all the time, playing on your mind with their last goodbye and how you had to break the tie.
So I thought I'd let that one play out to the end, so you can hear how the end is sounding at this point. But yeah, there's some like vocal ad-libs in there that I believe were also recorded at Pirate, but ultimately we decided not to include those. This is the thing, along the way, lots of ideas were tried out and scrapped. We had a string section at one point in that big end section there. We had some strings, and we ended up not using those because they were getting lost, or they just weren't right sonically. Lots of different keyboard parts came and went. But as you can hear, a lot of what you heard in that first example of when I reworked it musically is still there in the final version. And this is the thing, you can receive a vocal and guitar demo, and as a producer, you got to think about, okay, where can we take that? Because that's a pretty blank canvas. The song's there, but where do you want to take it sonically, and where does the artist want to take it sonically? And it's really collaborative, and it's about the relationship between you, the producer, and the artist, and figuring out what's the common goal that we're working towards. Because you've got to be on the same page and working towards a common goal as a producer and artist team. You can't just stick an artist in the studio with any producer and expect it to be a fruitful, successful working relationship. Getting that relationship right between the producer and artist is crucial to make it work, and to make the artist feel comfortable, and to make them believe that the producer has their best interest, at heart, and really want to take the song in the right direction for them, and that, they're also comfortable with as an artist. Because it's easy to think as a producer that what you say should be the final word, but you've also got to bear in mind that the artist then has to live with this version of the song, because this song is the released recording. It's going to be the definitive version of the song against which performances and whatever else are going to be judged. So it's important the artist is happy with the track as well, and the way that the production's going. And I think sometimes as producers, we can forget that and just think, oh, this will sound cool, we'll do this. But ultimately, they've got to be happy with it, and they've got to be comfortable to live with that song and call it theirs and perform that version. As an example of that, my favourite band is a band called Bastille, as some of you may know, and recently they released their Bad Blood X album, which is the 10th anniversary of their first album, Bad Blood. One of the hits off of Bad Blood was a track called Laura Palmer, which some of you may know. If not, then I highly recommend, I recommend that song, but I also just recommend Bastille in general. They're a massive influence on me, and I think they're great. But what's interesting about Bad Blood X is that you hear Laura Palmer, because the original album is included, but also you hear an early version of it. And if you listen to those two versions and hear the differences and the changes it went through, that's because Dan took that first demo, which I think is called Laura Palmer Racing Heart demo. Dan took that demo to producer Mark Crew, who we worked on all the Bastille albums with. Great producer, again, big influence on me. And you can hear the transformation that song went on. Dan took this sort of bare bones demo of the song is there, although we did undergo some lyrical changes, but the production is so different. The final production is so different to the demo. So I would encourage you to go and listen to that and hear what the progression was. And that's what a producer does, is take a song and figure out, along with the artist a lot of the time, the sonic identity almost of that song. What does that song need to sound like? What sonic direction does it need to go in? How does the song need to be changed, if it needs to be changed, etc, etc. And sometimes those changes are just as simple as, bringing it up a semitone to make it easier to sing, or maybe bringing it down a key. I've heard a couple of Bastille demos, on YouTube and Dan's Instagram, and a common theme I've noticed with some of Dan's demos is that they're always a bit higher in the demo phase, a semitone or a tone higher, and they have to be brought down for the final version. With this track, it was a case of bringing it up a semitone to make it easier to sing. So yeah, it can be as simple as that as a producer. It's just going, okay, we need to change the song first and foremost by raising it up a key to make it easier to sing. We need to, I don't know, maybe move a couple of sections around, change a couple of the melodies. Another Bastille example that I'm going to give here is a song called Poet, which you can hear on their album All This Bad Blood. And I'll link to all these tracks in the description, as well as the demos. If you listen to the demo version of Poet, which is Dan's bedroom demo, released on Bad Blood X, it's so different, but it's a perfect example of how a producer can really shape and change a song. But again, it has to be with the artist or with the artist's blessing, really, because again, that's the version of the song that they're going to have to live with and perform with, and that every other version is going to be judged against. Laura Palmer, for example, the version that gets played live is the version that's on the album 99% of the time, because that's what the fans know. And I really find it fascinating to hear that demo now and see the journey where that song went on. So, in short, it's a very broad and ambiguous and malleable title. But essentially that's what a producer does. It's someone who works with an artist and helps them to define what that song needs to sound like, its sonic identity, and just taking the song to the next level so that it's release ready. And on that note, I'm going to play you the final released version that was co-produced by myself and Almost Unique. And you can listen to it in the description, there'll be links to listen to it. And I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, please like and subscribe for more, and tell all your friends about this channel, all of them, literally. Send it to all of them. Goodbye, and see you next time.
With the last goodbye.